Hello and welcome back to Biren's Academy. Today's topic is Walt Whitman. Walter Whitman was an American poet, essayist, and journalist. He is often called the father of free verse. Okay, Walt Whitman American poet, essayist, and journalist ଥିଲେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦ ଫାଦର ଅଫ୍ ଫ୍ରି ଭର୍ସ ବୋଲି କୁହାଯାଉଥିଲା. ୟୁ ହାଭ୍ ଟୁ ରିମେମ୍ବର ଦିସ୍, ଦ ଫାଦର ଅଫ୍ ଫ୍ରି ଭର୍ସ. ହି ଇଜ୍ ଫେମସ୍ ଫର୍ ହିଜ୍ ପୋଏଟ୍ରି କଲେକ୍ସନ୍ ଲିଭ୍ସ ଅଫ୍ ଗ୍ରାସ୍. ଓକେ, ଫେମସ୍ ଫର୍ ହିଜ୍ ପୋଏଟ୍ରି କଲେକ୍ସନ୍ ଲିଭ୍ସ ଅଫ୍ ଗ୍ରାସ୍, which was very controversial in its time because it was described as obsessed for its overt sexuality. It was first published in 1855. John Peter Lacey called Whitman as a pretentious as to Walt Whitman. Okay, in the last week of his life, he wrote, "I suffered all the time. I have no relief, no escape. It is monotony, monotony, monotony in pain." This is the last week of his life. He has written this. And his important works are The Inebriate of Franklin Evans, is published on 1942, the only novel by Whit. You have to remember the Franklin Evans. It is the only one novel published by Whitman. The Leaves of Grass is published on 1855, first edition, and 1891, last and seventh edition. Okay, there in the Leaves of Grass you will find the seven editions published in a 7 page. The last edition, you have to remember that the last edition is also known as the deathbed edition. The last edition, the 7th edition, is known as the deathbed edition. Okay, 7th edition is known as the deathbed edition. Drum Tapes is published on 1865, Democratic Vista 1871, O Captain, My Captain 1865, Songs of My Life 1855, A Passage to India. It is a poem. Okay, A Passage to India is a poem. And you have to remember the O Captain, My Captain. Here in O Captain, My Captain is published on 1865. It is a very beautiful line that O Captain, My Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship was weathered, every wreck, the prize we sought is now. Okay, this is the very beautiful quotations from O Captain, My Captain. You have to remember this also. एथरे बहुत इंपोर्टेंट है लीव्स ऑफ ग्रास. लीव्स ऑफ ग्रास रे तांकर 4टा पोएट्री पब्लिश्ड होता. ओके, एटा हूँ गोटे एडिशन्स. एटा 7 एडिशन रे पब्लिश्ड होता. लास्ट एडिशन को डेथबेड एडिशन बोली कहुला. एथिरे जो 4टा पोएट्री पब्लिश्ड होता, गोटे है सॉन्ग ऑफ माई सेल्फ, सॉन्ग ऑफ माई सेल्फ, okay, first one is Song of Myself. Then next, see, I'll write down here. I sing the body Electra. I sing the body electric. This one, the second one. This is the second one. Out of the cradle, endless rocking. Endless rocking. Okay. Out of the cradle, endlessly rocking. Endlessly rocking. Then the last one is, oh captain, my captain. Okay. First one, song of myself. The next, I sing the body electric. Then out of the cradle, endlessly rocking. Then the last one is, oh captain, my captain. This is the these are the four poetry which published under the Leaves of Grass edition. And his only one novel which is written by Whitman is Franklin Evans. Okay, A Passage to India is a poem. A Passage to India is a poem. Then you have to remember some other things. See, in New York, he found his own newspaper, that is Long Islander. His own newspaper name is Long. Okay, Long Islander. You have to remember this also. In America, in New York, he found his own newspaper, Long Islander. In that newspaper, he served as a publisher, editor, okay, pressman, and distributor. Everything there. And he is also called as the father of free words. You have to remember that one also. And in Leaves of Grass, it has total 7 edition. And here you have to remember this one also. John Peter Lacey called Whitman a pretentious ass to Walt Whitman. Okay, the last line here, which I told you before. This also you have to remember. Okay, this is all about Walt Whitman.